For good measure, let's look at another string of 3 sentences to determine whether or not they qualify as being an argument. Let's read them in sequence. Dwight is a shrew. Do you want a cookie? She would be yelling her own last name. Let's look at the first sentence to determine whether or not it is a statement. In other words, whether or not it could be determined to be true or false. Dwight is a shrew. Well, it's possible Dwight is whatever a shrew entails. It is also possible Dwight is not whatever a shrew entails. So this sentence does qualify as being a statement. Now, at the moment, we don't know its function, whether or not it is a premise or a conclusion. However, as we continue moving through these sentences, we may discover its function here in short order. Let's look at the second sentence. Do you want a cookie? As we discovered earlier, most questions fail the test of being a statement. Why? Because most of them cannot be deemed as appropriately being labeled as given a truth value. So, do you want a cookie? That's not a true. You can't determine whether or not this is true or false. That label isn't meaningful in this particular scenario. So this sentence is not a statement. It is disqualified in our consideration. Now remember that all we need for an argument to exist is at least one premise and exactly one conclusion. So this could be equal to or greater than 1. So if the last sentence does qualify as being a statement, it is possible that we still have an argument. So let's keep moving on to see if that is the case. The last sentence. She would be yelling her own last name. Here we additionally have a question, and in this case, this particular question, it would not be meaningful to assign it a true or a false value. Now, if this question did qualify as being rhetorical, and there could be an argument that it very well may be, however, in this case, we're considering it being an honest, open-ended question. In that case, this also fails the filtering test of being considered a statement. Now, the answer to this question very well could be a statement. Yes, she would be yelling her own last name, or no, she would not be yelling her last name. However, in this honest question, in a non-rhetorical manner, this fails to be a statement. So all we're left here in this particular string of 3 sentences is one statement, and we don't know if it would be a premise or a conclusion, because a premise arguably requires, well, let me say it a different way, a conclusion requires a premise. It's possible this could be a premise, it's possible it could also be a conclusion if there were supporting premises, but in this case we don't know. And so these 3 sentences serve as a helpful contrast in showing the filtering process we run strings of sentences through to determine whether or not they meet the criteria of being an argument.